When an IBS flare-up hits, food can feel, well, it can feel like both the enemy and the only thing that might save you. Knowing what to reach for in that moment can make a world of difference. So in this explainer, we're going to break down a really gentle, practical guide for eating during those incredibly tough moments.
If you've ever felt this, you know exactly what this means. It's not just physical, right? A flare-up can totally hijack your day, your plans, your everything. That feeling of being held captive by your own gut, that's what we're talking about today.
So what is an IBS flare-up, really? Well, it's not just one thing. It's this whole storm of symptoms that just suddenly takes over. And it's this complete hijack of your system that makes your food choices so important. Food can either fan the flames or become the lifeline that helps you ride it out.
Okay, let's really dive into this. Why does what you eat in these fragile hours have such a huge impact? Okay, so here's the deal. During a flare, your gut and your nervous system are just not on speaking terms. Digestion, something that's normally on autopilot, suddenly becomes this massive, high-effort job for your body. So our goal isn't really about perfect nutrition, it's about easing your body's burden. We want to choose foods that are incredibly easy to digest, super low in irritants, and help you stay hydrated.
So, with that in mind, let's build that toolkit. We're going to look at a core set of reliable, gentle foods that can really act as your lifeline when you need them the most. First up, let's talk about the foundation, simple carbohydrates. You can think of these as your gentle energy source. They're bland, they're binding, and they give your body some calories without asking for much work in return.
And what's cool is how each of these plays a slightly different role. You've got white rice, which is kind of the gold standard for being bland and binding. It's perfect for just calming everything down. Then you have cooked oats, which give you that gentle, soluble fiber that can create this soothing gel in your gut. Boiled potatoes, they're doing double duty, giving you calories, plus that super important electrolyte, potassium. And of course, simple white toast or crackers are what we call low residue, which just means they leave very little behind for your gut to deal with.
All right, next up, let's talk about getting some gentle nutrients and easy energy from fruits and vegetables. But the key here is choosing the right ones, in the right form.
And this list really shows how preparation is everything. A nice, ripe banana is soft and full of potassium and that good soluble fiber. Carrots, when they're cooked until they're super soft, give you gentle fiber and a bit of energy, something you would never get from a raw carrot in a flare. Unsweetened applesauce has pectin, which can help get things back to normal. And just a tiny bit of avocado offers some gentle fats to help you feel a little more satisfied.
Okay, and finally, we have to focus on hydration, electrolytes, and just a little bit of gentle protein for repair. This is where those soothing liquids and really simple proteins become your best friends. Bone broth is an absolute superstar here. It's hydrating, it's easy to sip, and it helps replace those lost electrolytes. Plain poached chicken, and I mean like a tablespoon or two, gives you some lean protein that's really easy to digest. And don't forget your teas. A weak ginger tea can be amazing for nausea, and peppermint tea might help with cramping. Just a little heads up on the peppermint though, be careful if you tend to get acid reflux.
Okay, so we have our toolkit of foods, but honestly, how you eat is just as important as what you eat. So let's look at how to build a real strategy around this.
Think of this as your 4-step game plan to make eating feel less scary. First, start small. I mean, really small. Just pick 1 or 2 things from our toolkit. Second, texture is king. Soft, cooked, or mashed foods are your absolute best friend. Third, always start with sips of warm water or broth to kind of wake up your stomach gently. And finally, number 4, avoid all complexity. This is not the time for spices, sauces, or anything fried. Simple is always safe.
Now let's pull all of this together into a quick, at-a-glance guide with some smart tactics you can use right in the heat of the moment.
This is your cheat sheet. On the left, you've got your safe, gentle go-to foods, and on the right, the usual suspects. Raw veggies like broccoli are just too much fiber, spicy and fried foods are major irritants, and things like beans, fizzy drinks, and fake sweeteners can cause a ton of gas and bloating. Having this mental map just makes decision-making so much faster.
And here it is, your emergency action plan. The moment you feel things starting to go sideways, just run through this checklist. Step 1, and this is so important, is to just pause and rest. Then you follow the sequence. Sip something warm, choose one gentle food, take tiny bites, and just monitor how you feel. It's a calm, logical path to follow when your body feels like it's in total chaos.
A flare-up doesn't last forever, so it's really important to have a plan for what comes next.
Let's shift our focus to recovery and map out a clear path forward.
So, the magic word here is methodical. Don't just rush back to your normal diet. You gotta wait until your system feels genuinely calm. Then, bring in only one new food at a time, and give it a couple of days to see how your body reacts. And seriously, keeping a simple log of what you ate and how you felt, it's an incredibly powerful tool for figuring out your own personal triggers.
And I think this is probably the most empowering thing to remember. We might not have total control over when a flare happens, but we can have control over our response. Having these calm strategies and knowing which gentle foods to grab, that gives you back a sense of power when you feel most helpless.
So I'll leave you with this question. Thinking about everything we've covered, what's one simple thing you could add to a flare-up ready kit right now? Maybe it's a box of plain crackers, some instant oats, or a carton of bone broth. Taking just one small proactive step today can make a huge difference tomorrow.